Good evening, everyone. So, for anyone who didn't see the original post of the stream for tonight's trivia, I had to delete the original scheduled post for the stream because there was a corruption in the actual audio and uploading of the file from Google to Restream, which you'll see in the upper corner here, the name Restream. That's not, we're not restreaming it. That's the name of the company. But anyways, the file was corrupted, so I had to delete it, and then I had to re-upload all of this again. It only took me a couple of minutes, but luckily for me, I saw that it was corrupted and deleted it before we actually got started tonight, and then we couldn't get anything to work again. So let's see here. It's time to say hello to everyone. For who's here already. We have Sprinkled Donut, Sal, Inner Peas, Barking Pumpkin, Gina Marie. We have Pippa Dot, Juicy Jules. Good evening. Welcome, everyone. Again, make sure you are on live chat, not all chat or anything else, so you can actually see the comments as they come in. Hi, I might zonk out. I'm not usually up this late. Francie, good evening and welcome to tonight's trivia. I'm glad you could be here either way. And Sunflower Field, good evening, Sunflower Field. Welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope everyone had a great weekend. So tonight, in case you're not familiar with the name Paul Bernardo, that is what the trivia questions are all on Paul Bernardo tonight. Paul Bernardo, along with his wife, Karla Homolka, they were known as the Ken and Barbie murderers in Canada. They are serial killers from Canada. Yes, even Canada has serial killers. Purple, good evening. Welcome to tonight's trivia. Kitty Q, good evening. Welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you all had a great weekend and week. I know I certainly did. It's been raining since yesterday here, which is very rare. We got a quarter of an inch. It's not a lot of rain, but it's a quarter of an inch of rain that we don't normally see in any given period of time and spread out over a couple of days. That's kind of, unusual. Now, to give you in context, I live in what's called a high desert plateau. There's nothing here but sagebrush and sand. There are some cactuses that do grow here, but no, we don't get like saguaros or anything like that you'd see in like Oklahoma, Texas, or New Mexico, Utah, that part of the country. But the high desert plateau. So getting a lot of rain in a high desert plateau is very unusual, even if it's a quarter of an inch. And it is still raining. We get rain tomorrow, 100% chance. Wow. Sorry, Inner Peace. I guess that'll probably put a swash on doing a whole lot of anything outside. It's raining on and off today in Michigan. Actually, just started pouring. Well, hope you're able to stay dry, Sunflower Field. Excuse me. Juicy Jules and all the 411 cuties. SoCal fires where you are, Gianna Marie. I'm sorry. Well, that's one. I guess it's a good thing that we are getting the rain. Of course, It's not going to fix the drought situations that we haven't gotten our um, proper amount of rain in like over 2 years. It's getting the weather patterns are getting stranger and stranger. I don't know what's causing it. Some people say it's global warming. Other people say it's not. Other people say that that person over there is just nuts. They don't know what they're talking about. I don't know. I just know that I live day to day life here, and I know what it's like normally. In the last couple of years, it's gotten even stranger, weather-wise. So, do you have snakes and scary insects? Oh, we got a lot of snakes, a lot of rattlesnakes. That's probably the most common snake around here. You find them everywhere in town, out in the the desert. You find them everywhere. We have scorpions. So creepy crawlies like that. You definitely have to watch out for scorpions. So, Lemon Pie, good evening, Lemon Pie, and welcome to tonight's trivia. We're gonna get this going here in just a minute. You had a beautiful and sunny, mild fall. We had kind of a strange fall so far. I mean, still fall. I guess technically, maybe it's winter time. Where we live, we don't really get like a changing of the seasons. Like back home, I was born and raised in Wisconsin, and being from Wisconsin, we have 3 seasons there. You have the muggy summers, you have road construction, and then you have closed for road construction. That's the 3 seasons we have in Wisconsin. Here, you can't really tell the difference between winter and fall. You can't tell the you know when it's summertime because the daytime highs are in the triple digits and the nighttime temperatures are in the high 80s. At night, and sometimes they dip down even into the 30s. But overall, you just never know the changing from one season to the next. All right, we're going to get the trivia night going, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 330th trivia night. 330 episodes of true crime trivia. And I'd like to again welcome everybody to Trivia Night, to the 330th episode. Yeah, you can read through this if you want, but in a nutshell, I am not responsible if you are under the age of 16 and you're watching this. This is age restricted on all platforms that I stream to. TikTok ByteDance does not follow the instructions because they're not based in the U.S., nor do they feel like they need to follow the rules. But again, redisseminating this content in any form at all is illegal. I do not offer the ability for people to clip it and make it and use it for other content, even for if they want to use it underneath the Fair Use Act. I will starchly make sure that people do not do that. This is my original content. These are my questions. It is not the content of anyone else, nor is it the responsibility of my advertisers or anybody who places ads on this content that, hey, he's doing this or he's doing that. Or, someone on the age of 16 was accessing it. No. But again, tonight's content is all about Paul Bernardo, the invisible hatred. And this is definitely live. I'm live and you're live, and we are here. Question number 1 is now on your screen. After a lengthy trial of Paul Bernardo, what was he sentenced to? Was it A, 20 years with parole after 15, B, 25 years with parole after 20, C, 10 years to life with time served, or D, 25 to life without parole, or E, other? One of these is a correct answer always. It may not be A, B, C, or D. It could be E. It could be something else that his actual sentence was. Again, There is a possibility that it could be E. It is not cheating if you use Google, phone a friend, ask your hubby who's sitting on the couch, reach out to the person at the truck stop, whatever you need to do if you need to ask someone about the answer to this question. Question number 1 of 20. What was his sentence after his lengthy trial? Lemon Pie says, E, watching 100 episodes of The View. And your P's is going with E, Life Without Barbie. Lori Nick 65, good evening and welcome to tonight's trivia. I'm sorry if I missed you. I meant to. I saw your name, earlier. Lori Nick, but welcome to tonight's trivia. And Poppy, good evening and welcome to True Crime Trivia. All the questions tonight are on Paul Bernardo, one half of the Ken and Barbie serial killers from Canada. Question number 1 is on your screen. What was the sentence for Paul Bernardo after his lengthy trial? And good evening, Carol, as well. Welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you all had a great week and weekend. Lemon Pie, torture cue. Question number 1 of 20. All right, the answer to question number 1 is D as in dog. He was given a sentence of 25 years in prison to life without the possibility of parole. That was his sentence that was handed down after his lengthy trial. Question number 2. In Canada, they have a designation for criminals that will keep them behind bars forever, even after they served out their sentence, which Paul got. What is it called? That should be is, not it. What it called? Is it A, a dangerous offender, B, extreme violent offender, C, the Barry Morphew level 2 offender, or D, scumbag level 2, or E, other? In Canada, they have a designation for criminals that will keep them behind bars forever. Let me explain that to you a little bit in case you don't understand what that it is in context. So here in America, we have criminals that have been sentenced, and maybe they got 25 years without without the chance of parole. All right, that's their sentence, and then they serve out their sentence. And here in America, we then say, look, this individual is too harmful to be, released out on parole. So we will keep them behind bars indefinitely. Example of that was Charles Manson. Charlie served out his entire sentence and no state would take him because he was too high of a profile and a risk factor to be released back into the general population in society. So he ended up dying behind the prison walls, actually in the hospital. But they have, and this is the same thing in Canada, but they actually have a name for it. Which one of these is it? Well, his next parole hearing is November 26th this year. Is that wrong? For Paul Bernardo, he has a parole hearing on some of the charges that he was convicted of, Kitty Coo. He will not be getting out of prison, because he has been deemed one of these that is on this list here, and therefore he will not be released back into the public, even if every one of his sentences they were to come down and say he is served out his time. He is indefinitely going to be in prison for the rest of his life. Sprinkled Donna is going with F, a Chad Daybell offender. Good evening, Left-Handed RN. Welcome to tonight's trivia. All right, question number 2. The correct answer is A as in apple. In Canada, just like in the United States, they are called a dangerous offender. And underneath the dangerous offender stipulation, an individual, even if they give them a life sentence, say 50 years or 25 years, once they are, even after they served out 100% of their sentence, they will never be released back into the public. Now, there are certain charges in Canada, and there is a maximum that is different from in America. Let's take, for example, say you are, this is hypothetical. Let's say that you are Samuel Little, a convicted murderer, and he is in prison for, killing 2 women. They give him 50 years, 2 sentences of 25 years to run concurrently. So he doesn't have to do 50 years, he does 25 years, and he's done with the sentence. Well, the state of California, in Samuel Little's case, they would go to the actual state itself, will file the paperwork to say, look, Samuel Little is too much of a violent offender and too much of a risk to the public to be released on any type of parole. So we want to keep him, incarcerated for the rest of his life indefinitely. Now, we have used indefinite, sentences mainly, in the United States for sex offenders, serial rapists, and murderers. Those are the 3 that we use, use it the most for. But again, Samuel Little has since died, and he did confess to more than 99 murders total. The Texas Ranger believes his actual body count is probably closer to 105. But anyways, they are called the same exact thing in Canada as they are in the United States, a dangerous offender. Even if you have some sentences you can serve out in 15 years or 10 years, you're still not getting out. Excuse me. Question number 3. The media in the 1980s and 1990s had nicknamed Paul Bernardo as what? Was he known as A, the Valley Rapist, B, the Casanova Rapist, C, the Scarborough Rapist, D, the Mountain Lion Tamer, or E, other? The media in the 1980s and 90s had nicknamed Paul Bernardo as what? And good evening, Starlight. One of the worst offenders ever in Canada. Well, I would agree with that. But I would add the stipulation: Paul Bernardo and Karla are the worst that have been caught. The Highway of Tears murderer or murderers. They're most likely more than one serial killer who hunted and killed indigenous women, along the Highway of Tears, and into Canada, from the United States to Canada. They would be by far the most prolific serial killers. Do they know each other? We don't know. Neither one of them have ever been caught. But Paul and Karla are definitely the worst that have ever been caught in Canada. Right up there. Black Eagle, good evening. Welcome to tonight's trivia, Black Eagle. I hope you had a great weekend. And thank you for joining us tonight. Question number 3. What did the media in the 1980s and 1990s nickname Paul? The correct answer is C, as in cat, the Scarborough Rapist. Before they even knew about Karla and all the other crimes that they had committed, Paul was known, and his crimes were known as the Scarborough Rapist cases. There was a lot of them. Yeah, more than anybody, if they totally put it all together, there are probably 14 actual violent sexual assaults that Paul committed, but there's a couple, like maybe four of those there that have always been questionable. It wasn't him, but the MO kind of matched him, anyways. But 14 of them total is most likely what his total sexual assaults were. All right. Did you know, besides kidnapping, torturing, and beating and raping Karla Homolka's younger sister, the two of them did this to at least two other minors, to Kristen French and to Leslie Mahaffey. They were both minors when they were kidnapped, raped, and tortured by Paul and Karla. Besides Karla's actual sister. Yes. Question number 4. What is the name of the woman Paul Bernardo married, who also became his accomplice in all his crimes? Was it A, Lori Vallow, B, Karla Homolka, C, Lucy Letby, D, Karen Reed, or E, other? Good evening, Gone Girl. You lived near them? I'm truly sorry, Gone Girl. I hope you're doing well today, Gone Girl. They met and got together before they ever started raping and killing. And her piece is going with Snooky. Lemon Pie is going with C. Cement Shoes. Good evening, Cement Shoes. And welcome to tonight's trivia. What is the name of the woman that Paul Bernardo married and became an accomplice in all his crime, in all the crimes? Question number 4 of 20. All right, the answer for question number 4 is B, as in boy. Karla Homolka. I can talk. All right, moving on. Question number 5. What role did Karla Homolka play in the murders and torture of her younger sister at the hands of Paul Bernardo? Was it A, drugged her and beat her, B, beat her and burned her with a cigarette, C, just video recorded the entire event, D, got McDonald's and laughed, or E, other? What role did Karla play in the actual beating, torturing of her sister, her younger sister? And smoke them if you got them. Did you ever nominate Luca Magnotta? Let me look it up, Cement Shoes. You should just put a tab for your page. Ezra McCandless, Ken Elroy, Sarah Boone, Stephen Avery, O.J. Simpson, Jack Underweger. No, but I will write it down. And thank you, Cement Shoes. Duly noted. It is now in the book of official suggestions. She used drugs from her vet clinic in her eggnog. Lovely. Kitty Q is going with drugged and video recorded it. What role did Karla play in the murder and torture of her sister? Sprinkle Donna is going with A. So is Sal. Juicy Jules is going with C. Another Canadian case. Yes. Starlight. No, I don't think she beat her, but she did drug and videotape her and Paul. Question number 5. She casually assisted in her own sister's rape and murder. Lieutenant RN is going with E. Question number 5. The correct answer is, in fact, E. E. In this case, she did drug her. She did not beat her. She did videotape her, and she did actually retrieve food from upstairs and bring it downstairs, but she did not go to McDonald's. But she did go get food for herself and for Paul from upstairs while he was beating and raping her sister, and she videotaped it. So it is E, other. Yes, Pippa Dot, it has to be E, because she did parts of those ones, but she never did actually physically assault her sister. At least not that is shown on the video. Yeah, they've recorded these things. Disgusting creatures they are. All right, question number 6. What was the name of Karla Homolka's younger sister that she offered up to Paul to beat, rape, and eventually murder? Was it A, Lori, B, Janet, C, Tammy, D, Darla, or E, other? What was the name of Karla's younger sister? Lemon Pie says E. coli McDonald's. Sal, Poppy, Purple, Barking, Starlight, and Sprinkled Dawn are all going with C. Francie, no idea. Annie. Good evening, Annie, and welcome to tonight's trivia. And Annie is going with C as well. Crispy Treat, good evening, and welcome to tonight's trivia. Crispy Treat's answer is C as well for question number 6 of 20. What was Karla's younger sister's name? And the correct answer to question 6 is, in fact, C as in cat. Tammy was her younger sister's name that she offered up to Paul to beat, rape, torture, and eventually murder. Yes. In case you guys were wondering, there have been a couple of different made-for-TV movies about the two, the Barbie and Ken murders. Lifetime has done one. There's been, a couple others that have been done by other news outlets like 48 Hours and such about the case. I'm glad you could be here, Crispy Treat. You'll find that this is an excellent community of people who are like-minded. All right. Question. Did you know after Karla's release from prison? Yes, Karla is out of prison. After her release from prison, the public went nuts because a videotape that was eventually lost showed her as she was a major part of the crimes and actually encouraged Paul to do more. And several of the videos that they actually, of the different crimes that they committed, Karla is there egging him on, encouraging him, do more, do this. And she was much more involved in the actual crimes, the planning of the crimes, than was ever led on to believe throughout the court case. During the court case, her defense put forth the defense that she was coerced into this, and that she was afraid of Paul and all of this other crud. But it was all and then after she was released, this video came out and people saw it. And they're like, oh my God, she was a lot more involved than ever before anybody knew. Oh, Super Chat Cat is here. Mandy Hall, good evening. Who gifted the memberships? Gone Girl, thank you very much, Gone Girl. I appreciate that. That is so nice of you to do that, to gift memberships to everybody. Well, 10 of them. I really do appreciate that. Gina P., good evening, and welcome to tonight's trivia. Mike Stevens, good evening. Allah Akbar. Sixth Sense Amelia, good evening. And Maureen Gunn. How are you doing, Maureen? I hope you're doing well. Thank you for being here tonight with us. I'm a walking encyclopedia of true crime, LOL, so watch out. All right, Crispy Treat. Note to oneself, if you're going to copy off someone, it might be beneficial to copy off a Crispy Treat along with cement shoes. The investigators found she was further involved in the crimes after watching the videotapes. Yes. All right, question number 7. Sadly, the question has to be asked. How did Tammy Homolka eventually die? Was it A, blood loss from the beating, B, stabbed to death, C, shot with a Colt 45, D, choked on her own vomit, or E, other? Question number 7 of 20. Sadly, the question has to be asked. How did Tammy eventually die? Feel free to copy me. How much is 1.5 liters of water? I just drank this entire thing today, just sitting here. E, karma. Don't copy off my math homework. Math's not your strong suit, Crispy Treat. I wouldn't copy off of mine either. Starlight, Carol, Gianna Marie, and Crispy Treat are all going with D. So is Sal. How did Tammy eventually die? May God rest her soul. To be offered up like that is disgusting. Francie, D, strangled? I don't know. Excuse me. All right, question 7. The correct answer is D as in dog. She asphyxiated on her own vomit. She choked on her own vomit. She brought the vomit up and into her lungs, asphyxiating herself, and that was her official cause of death. D as in dog. She choked on her own vomit. Question 8. Oh, what legal argument did Karla Homolka make with prosecutors in exchange for a lighter sentence that Paul and his attorney have tried to block? Was it A, plea deal known as a 6-to-1, B, a plea deal known as a plea with the devil, C, a plea deal known as heaven's help, D, a plea deal known as an open gate, or E, other? What legal agreement did Karla make with prosecutors in exchange for a lighter sentence? Sprinkled donuts, sometimes it takes up to 24 hours for it to start showing on your channel if you were gifted a membership. If you bought your own membership and not just a gifted membership, again, it can take up to 24 hours. That is the YouTube system itself. Sometimes it's automatically, it's immediate, and you'll start showing either a badge next to your name, or sometimes it can take a couple minutes. You can also refresh your browser, refresh, like hit the refresh button. That might, change it. I have no control over that, and I'm sorry about that. But this has been an issue along with, I make videos that are just for channel members, and there's an entire playlist out there of videos, shorts and long form videos and live streams that are just for channel members. And from what I gather from talking to channel members and those who have been here with me for quite a long time, some people, upwards to almost 5 years, they don't get notified of the videos, even though I click on every single time, notify channel members when I make something channel member for the playlist. It's an issue, and these are things that have been ongoing with YouTube and their technical side for a while. Just like you may not get notifications of live streams that I'm live, or I am live, or I'm going live. I don't understand why their system is that way. It just is. We just deal with it. I tell people when it comes to the live streams, make a post-it note or write it on the calendar, because these tribute nights are always at the same time. And like the Saturday one is always at 8 a.m. in the morning. The recap show and the tribute nights are always at 4 p.m. on Pacific Standard Time, 7 o'clock on the East Coast. Crispy, when they found out years later that she died from health thing. All right, question number 9. The correct answer is B as in boy. The plea deal is known as a plea with the devil, or some people might say, or call it the devil's plea, is how it's known in popular culture, the devil's plea. But the plea with the devil, in a nutshell, what they did was she basically helped the prosecution in their case against Paul in exchange for a lighter sentence. And as we already know, Karla is out of prison, and we will find out a little bit more about her as this night goes on. Good evening, Mindy Hall. If I did not say hello earlier, and that is a beautiful cat. I have a cat that has kind of a similar pattern as that kitty there, but we call ours Jelly Belly, or Jelly Bean is her, I guess, her official name for the veterinarian records. But we call her, I refer to her as Jelly Belly. But she has spots like that. She has a black one on one side, and she has a brown one with one brown ear. All right. Did you know Paul Bernardo once pursued a modeling career and even considered moving to the state's New York, to be exact, and to see if he could get into acting and if Karla could get an agent and take up modeling? Paul Bernardo once pursued modeling and wanted Karla to get into it as well. Wouldn't that have been a hoot? Question number 10. Even though Paul Bernardo's crime started much, much earlier, what decade did he commit the majority of his crimes? Was it A, 1970s, 1980s, B, 1960s, 1970s, C, 1980s, 1990s, or D, 1990s, 2000s, or E, other? Your kitty has a heart-shaped feet, a pattern, a heart, the heart. That'd be cool. Crispy treat is going with E. Left-handed RN is A. Pippadot and cement shoes are both going with C. What decade did Paul commit the majority of his crimes? Poppy is going with C. Sal and Kitty Q as well. Starlight's going with C. Lemon pie is the year 2525. If man is still alive. Sprinkle Donut is going with C. Francie, D. What decade did Paul commit the majority of his crimes? Do you know anything about Paul? Question mark. Do I know anything about Paul Bernardo? I do now after putting a lot of this together. Smith Shoes, I pick C. Crispy Treat is going with B. All right, even though Paul Bernardo's crime started much, much earlier, what decade did he commit the majority of his crimes? The correct answer is C, as in cat, 1980s and 1990s. Is when Paul committed the majority of his crimes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is the first 10 questions on our trivia night. As always, after the first 10 questions, we take a break for the next 6 minutes. Go use the facilities, smoke a bowl, shotgun some beers, do whatever you need to do for the next 6 minutes. And then we'll be back with corrections and the rest of the trivia. And then afterwards, we cover a missing or endangered person from around the United States. Cold cases where someone is missing and they don't know what happened to them. But again, take yourself a 6-minute break. Crispy Treat, I'm a brand new cat owner. I have a cat named Mr. Meow Meow. Well, that's cool. That's a cool name for a cat. My neighbor across the street has a cat named Mr. Meow. It's an all gray, short hair, domesticated cat. Most definitely, Pippadot. If you enjoy the trivia night and the content and the community that is here, please consider giving this a thumbs up. If you don't like the content and you think that it's horrible and the community here sucks, which it doesn't, but if you do believe that, give it a thumbs down. I encourage you to vote however you feel. Mandy Hall's cat is called Kit. Okay. See, we have these are the. I'm not joking. These are the names of our cats. We have um, Cappuccino. Then we have Jelly Bean. Then we have Darla. Then we have Ghosty Pie. And then we have what is that? Phantom. Those are the names of our 5 cats. We had 5 German Shepherds, and after my last German Shepherd, Lucky, we finally passed away. And you can't see him, but Lucky is over there on the shelf. He's always looking over my shoulder. He'll be with me forever. But after my last dog, passed away, we said no more pets, and then immediately afterwards acquired cats, 5 cats to be exact. Will, do you call them by their names though? Oh yes, I do. Kitty Coo. Poppy, your old cat was called Archibald. Oh, that's a cool name for a cat. I need my glasses. I can't see anything. I'm so glad there's a break. There you go. Got a little bit less than 3 minutes left. You like the names? Yeah, we may have cats. They're not just pets. They're members of our family. We truly believe, and that they're members of our family. They get the same, they get treated as members of the family, not as like, subservient like an animal. I often joke that, the cats own the house and they just allow us to live here and feed them and clean up after them. And just remember, if the earth was really flat, cats would have pushed everything off of it by now. Does anyone have a nickname for your cats? I'm sure my neighbors all have nicknames for me, like Crazy Cat Man or something. Because, we have 5 cats, but I probably feed 14 or 15 of them. Just about every neighbor's cat comes over to my house in the morning and I feed them. I have on my porch right now, no joke, I have 4 food dishes. And these are not like little tiny bowls, but they're 4 plastic dishes of cat food. I don't fill them up until I put food in them. I put it in the morning at about 5 a.m. because we have raccoons that come out of like the desert area from behind this housing development, and they come up and they'll eat all the cat food. So I wait for the raccoons. The raccoons come around 3 o'clock in the morning. So I wait until about 5 and then I feed the cats. And the neighbors are cats across the street. They're the first ones that come over. Siamese. 2 of our cats are Siamese. Darla and Ghosty Pie are both Siamese. All right, we got 24 seconds left of the break. You had the best cat once. His name was Jake. He got hit by a car. I'm sorry, Sprinkled Donut. And here we go. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Corrections and stuff. There is no corrections this week. No one has sent me a demand for, request for, to have to make any corrections. So next week, I'm sure there'll be something else to add here into the trivia night corrections. But again, no one this past week, asked for and demanded a correction over some trivia question from last week. mindless, plug here for my merch. Again, this is the trivia night shirt that is available. That's the back of the shirt. The logo on the front only just says the channel name 411 on the left side of, where like breast pocket area would be, but there's no pocket on it. But that's just the shirt itself. And again, I was asked, why don't I have these shirts, in larger sizes? I offer them all the way up to a 5 double XL. That's as large as I'm restrained on that size by the actual manufacturer and printing company. All my merch is done through Spring, which used to be known as Teespring. Again, I don't control the shipping rates. All the shipping rates are based on where you live and in distance away from the actual manufacturer and printing of the shirts. Again, they come in 5 different colors and sizes up to 5XL. They do make a perfect Christmas gift if you want to snag one up. Of that $24.99, the base price for the shirt, I make $1.02 off that shirt. Then by far, $24.99 is one of the cheapest, creators, merch, shirts that you're going to find out there. Most of the people who are in my genre of like true crime and have merch, their shirts are selling for $31 to $37 a piece. And these are not some, cheap t-shirts, like low quality, material. These are, above average, quality of material. Anybody who's ever purchased one, will swear to it's good printing and the quality of the actual material, the shirt itself is good. These are tagless shirts, by the way, so there's no itchy tag to have to remove. All right, now the harmless plug for my merch is over with. Back to trivia. Question number 11. What major Canadian city was most affected by Bernardo's early crime wave? Was it A, Quebec City, B, Toronto, C, Calgary, E, Edmonton, or E, other? What city was affected by his crime wave the most? Your cat will eat so fast when I give him some kind of a treat, it makes him sick. He got sick on tuna and some kind of treat from the vet. Oh, I'm sorry about the crispy treat. Of the 5 cats that I have that are actually mine, I feed them canned food in the morning. One can of cat food is split between 2 cats, and they all have their own dishes inside the house. But they all get soft food inside of the house in the morning, and I have to half a can. But 2 of my cats, Cappuccino and Ghosty, I have to feed them separately, from the other 3, because they will eat not only their food, but then they will eat the others, and then they get sick, and then then I have to go around the house gingerly, looking for surprise from the cat. So, but I give them so I take 1 can between the 2 of them and I split it into quarters, and then I feed them a little bit at a time. Otherwise, they're both on the chunky side. Let's just say neither one of them has missed a meal since they were born. Starlight is going with E. No, E. Okay. I never demanded for a correction. No, I've never gotten a correction from Crispy Treat. I have from people who watch it, and it's kind of unique in that we got maybe 23. I think we have 23 right now, but we'll get between 20 and 30 people in the stream who are watching this trivia, and I will have 100 to 155, sometimes 300. Within the next 48 hours, people who will watch this. And I get a lot of people in the comment section afterwards. You misled everybody on that question. That was cruel. I demand that you make a correction. Demand? Well, I'm sorry. Love a fat cat? Yeah, you'd love mocha. Mocha cappuccino. He is a fat cat. He's like Garfield, but he's actually brown, striped, cat. All right. Question number 11. I got off topic there. The correct answer is B. Toronto was most affected by Bernardo's early crime wave. Toronto. Question number 12. What evidence led to Paul Bernardo's arrest and eventual conviction? Was it A, DNA, B, eyewitness testimony, C, a lost diary he wrote, D, videotape confession, or E, other? Most were in Toronto. I believe they were putting Quebec City, as Karla lives in Quebec, Montreal right now, but I could be completely wrong. Is that where she's at? Is she in the Montreal area? She is not that bright, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. We're going to get in. That's going to come up, but wow, she is not that bright. For somebody who does not want the attention or be remembered for this, as she says, she's not that bright. What evidence led to Paul Bernardo's arrest and eventual conviction? Sal says, I don't know. A? Kitty Q. A, but E, I think. I don't know. Carol, A. Gianna Marie, Starlight, Crispy Treat are all going with A. Also want to say C, but nobody else at C. Ooh. D, NDG to be exact. Montreal. She was in Jamaica. The Finn. Good evening, The Finn. Welcome to tonight's trivia. Francie's going with B, C, and D? Question mark? I don't know. The Finn. B and D. All right. What evidence led to the eventual arrest and conviction of Paul Bernardo? The correct answer is only one, and it is A. DNA evidence is what eventually led to his arrest and conviction. Was he could not escape the DNA evidence. He could try to, say, look, it wasn't me for everything, and he could come up with the world's best alibi. But in the end, the DNA evidence is what got him convicted, and he did not ever make a videotape confession. That was just thrown in there to throw you off because they had videotaped their actual crimes. All right. Question number 13. The deal with the devil may have reduced the sentence handed down for Karla. However, it had to be agreed to in the end by Paul and his attorney. How long did she get? Was it A, 39 years, B, 20 years, C, 12 years, D, 25 to life, or E, other? The deal with the devil may have reduced the sentence handed down for Karla. However, it had to be agreed to in the end by Paul and his attorneys. How long did she get? Gina P. Good evening again. I hope you had a wonderful week, Gina. I'm glad you could be here with us. The Finn is going with C. Lemon Pie as well is going with C. For years, they did nothing at all. Mandy, Starlight, Kitty Q, Gianna Marie, and Poppy are all going with C. 12 years. Lemon pie, pineapple on pizza for life. Ugh. Oh, wow, that's crazy. People demand corrections over trivia. It happens, crispy treat. It happens. I'm only human, and I was made, this way, and I am flawed, and I do make occasionally mistakes, or maybe I make a question on a trivia like the one earlier that was misleading, I guess, and you could have, said it could have been any one of those, but I will get somebody who will come in the comment section and say that's wrong for me to have done that. It was not fair. And they will demand or ask for a correction. So I added that section to it, to the trivia night. It's like, okay, so we'll review that later on. Oops, it dropped your phone. Ah! Hopefully you didn't break it, Francie. She got a degree and learned fluent French. Hello, everyone. I believe she killed the girls out of jealousy. The knee prints on the victim's back were too small for Paul's. I think it's I've made video content like Lori Vallow, is representing herself, and the line is if you represent yourself, the saying goes, if you represent yourself, you have a fool for a client. In court, I made that video, that YouTube Shorts video, and boy, did I get a lot of hate over that, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, I'm unsubscribing." I'm like, "You never were a subscriber." I demand, sir, that you take it. All right, question number 13. The correct answer is C as in cat. C as in cat. And yes, crispy treat, they did have his DNA for an awfully long time, going back from the original rape kits, from the rapes, the sexual assaults that he committed. They had it for a long time. They just didn't know who he was. But question number 13 of 20, the correct answer is C. 12 years is what she got. Did you know Paul never once admitted to any of the crimes him and Karla committed? In fact, he blamed everyone else under the sun, and even blamed a homeless drug addict at one point. This is initially when he was arrested. He never confessed to it, even though 2 newspapers ran stories that he had actually confessed to the crimes. What he had confessed to was not the murders and rapes, at all. He confessed to other crimes, but they made it seem like in the newspaper that he had confessed to what he and Karla had done. He did not do that, in fact, but they still twisted the truth in the newspaper to make it seem like he had. Question number 14. Of the dozens of video recordings Karla and Paul made of their violent crimes, how many of the recordings turned up missing after the trial? They were all there and they had them, during the trial, but after the trial, some of them turned up missing. How many turned up missing? Was it A, 24, B, 10, C, 6, D, 5, or E, other? He showed up in a suit or something and was real confident when they called him for the DNA. Will you Lego my ego? Of the dozens of video recordings Karla and Paul made of their violent crimes, how many of the recordings turned up missing after the trial? Trial, sorry, plural. I don't want to mislead you to think that there's only one trial. These are, in fact, Mandy is going with A, sprinkled donut A, and Francie's going with B. Question mark. Sal is going with E. Of the video recordings, how many of them turned up missing afterwards? Gina P, no clue. I have no clue. Don't know. Purple C, Carol is going with A. Question number 14 of 20, and the Finn is going with E. Starlight, I have no idea. E, maybe, says Starlight. Question number 14 of 20, the correct answer is E. 2 videos. Of all the recordings that the court had, 2 of them turned up missing after the case, but were subsequently later on found. They were mislabeled and put back into inventory incorrectly. 2, but they were found later on. Only 2. So E as an other is correct. Are you getting the messages late or some on time? Crispy Treat, are you on live chat or top chat, or depending on what you're using or what OS, like Android device? You should be on all chat. All right, question number 15. After Karla Homolka released from prison, where did she turn up working as a volunteer? Even stranger is the state knew all about it. Was it A, at a daycare school, B, at a women's shelter, C, at a state court as a clerk, D, at a runaway shelter, or E, other? After Karla's release from prison, where did she turn up working as a volunteer? How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop? The 1, the 2, crunch, 3. I missed that little owl. Yeah, Catholic Church, says Inner Peas. Poppy's going with B. Kitty Coo, Mandy, Carol, and Sal are all going with A. Poppy, no clue. Gianna Marie is going with A. Gosh, B? Question mark, Pip, but not Gianna. Gina E is going with a laundromat. How about a car wash? A car wash. Question number 15 of 20. The correct answer, ladies and gentlemen, is A as in apple. She started volunteering at a school after she got out of prison. And the strange part was they knew all about where she was actually at. And there was a media hustle to get out and actually catch her there. And they videotaped her actually leaving the school and was broadcast nationally all over the world, for everybody to see. Even in Canada and in the United States, it definitely made the news that after she got out, she was volunteering working at a school. Of all the places to, it's like, why don't you just, put this person who loved to, torture and, other people, why don't we put them in front of the people that can become potential victims again? All right. Question, and I know that says H.H. Holmes, Evil in White City at the top next to the question. I caught that after I actually put this thing together. See, somebody will send me a correction for that one and demand that I correct that because it says H.H. Holmes. All right, question number 16. What is the nickname given to both Karla and Paul before the trials and afterwards? Was A, Barbie and Ken, B, the devil and the devil's mistress, C, Mr. Black and Mrs. Gray, D, Lori and Chad Daybell, or E, other? What nickname was given to both Karla and Paul before the trials and after? Question 16 of 20. He demanded I correct that now, Sal. I will do it. I'll do it, Sal. I'll do it. I'm getting on it right now, Sal. Question number 16 of 20. The correct answer to question number 16 is A. A as in apple. Barbie and Ken was the nickname that the media gave to Paul and Karla before the trials and afterwards. And they're still to this day known as the Ken and Barbie Killers. A is the correct answer. All right. Did you know? Flew right past it. Did you know? Besides changing her last name after prison, it's been proven that Karla isn't well all that bright. She tried to lay low, but she loves to make waves in other parts of her life now. Then the media finds her all over again. So what are some of the things that she's done, you might ask, after she changed her name to draw attention to herself later on? Well, she got involved in a political debate for somebody who was running for a position locally in her area. So she decided to put herself back out there, and make waves that way. And then the media came and started talking to her. And then they figured out, oh my gosh, you're actually Karla. And that's just one example of the ways that if you want to lay low and you don't want anybody to know who you are, please do not put yourself out there as, where you're going to be, interviewed by somebody or someone's going to ask who you are. All right. Next. Question number 17. What year was Paul Bernardo arrested and almost released for the crimes that he and Karla had committed? Was it A, 1990, B, 1993, C, 1992, D, 25, if man is still alive, or E, other? What year was Paul Bernardo arrested and almost released for the crimes that he and Karla had committed? I do not know, Interpeace. I do not know if she has her own YouTube or not. It was her kid's school. She got red hair, and I think at least she did. Yeah, Crispy Treat, you are correct. It was her kid's school that she was volunteering at. Yeah, it's crazy though. You would think that, if you have somebody who is likes to prey upon others, especially younger, minors, as her and Paul definitely did with her own sister, and with the two other young girls, the last place you want them working is in a position of authority and a position where they have the ability to possibly, lure another child into harm's way again. Make her work on the ship dock, or someplace. Yeah, but you don't put them back in the school or in a position where they have the ability to, to find more victims. Good evening, Mel. I'd rather forget all about it, says Mel. Gina P is going with B, and 3 questions on this one. All right, what year was Paul Bernardo arrested and almost released for the crimes that him and Karla committed? The correct answer is, in fact, B. B as in boy, 1993. He was arrested, and they started to question him, but they initially did not have the entire case file in front of them when they arrested him, and he was going to be released, but they then realized, oh, there is a lot more to this. And then they started to talk to other detectives, that were investigating the rapes and everything else that Paul had committed and who had the rest of the DNA evidence. And they put it all together and they're like, nope, you're not going. But he came within mere hours of being released in 1993 after his arrest. 1993. All right, question number 18. Since Paul Bernardo's arrest and conviction, how well has he gotten along in prison? Meaning, how well is he following the rules? Is it A, pretty good, only minor issues? B, pretty horrible, he's had a lot of issues? C, he has been super quiet, no known issues? D, he is out of prison and dating Karen Reed? Or E, other? Question number 18 of 20. I think I remember when you used to have an American flag as your backdrop, crispy treat. Early on, I did. I still have one to this day, but it's not behind me currently at this angle. If you can see my hand motioning, I'm motioning to my right as my normal backdrop. But the way that my table and everything else is set up right now is you're seeing the lengthwise of my studio. There is an American flag right there on the flagpole. That's the PO right here where my hand is moving. And that is the POW MIA flag. But the one that used to hang behind me before, a long time ago, I might add, is still over here, but it's in a case. But yes, you are correct. That was probably about 5 or 6 years ago, somewhere in there. Those were some of the earlier videos that I ever did. I shot them in a warehouse. And there were stacks of pallets of empty jugs that got filled with fertilizer, because I worked at a fertilizer company that my buddy owned. And so I actually made a rig out of a pole and a coat hanger to actually hold the camera, so it was hands-free. And I mean, nobody wants to see a bunch of pallets of white empty jugs, so I had the flag behind me. But thank you. That was an awful long time ago. Oh, the memories. Question number 18. The correct answer is C as in cat. He's been super quiet. There have been no known real issues with Paul Bernardo since he's been behind bars. Christopher Watt's mistress has never turned up anywhere. Oh, crispy treat. She is out there. You're speaking of his whore. But she popped up once before, since the case was resolved and Chris was sent away to Dodge Correction Center. She popped up once, but they weren't even looking for her. It was a TMZ, the tabloid news magazine show, was following a multi-millionaire's son who was hop skipping across the country and doing some pretty tasteless things. And she was captured in Vail, Colorado, there's a group of I think 6 or 7 people, and she was with that group. And but I'm kind of describe the picture to you that TMZ had, because I remember the picture itself vividly. They're all sitting on like a bench area, and there's like, but they're not like lined up like you'd have like a school picture. They're kind of like there's 3 here, and then the rest of them, or 4 of them, are over a little bit more, but they're all looking at the camera. But they weren't. She was just like a bystander, just one of the other people in that group. There's not like she was skiing down the slope behind them, and they captured her. She was with the group, but that was the only other time that she popped up, that I know of. But she's out there. I'm sure she's whatever she wants to do. Mr. Frosty, 53M, unvaxxed in Massachusetts. How are you doing, Mr. Frosty? Welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you are doing well. All right, moving on to question number 19. I got a little sidetracked there. What type of crimes was Paul Bernardo involved in besides torture, rape, and murder? Was it A, carjacking, B, selling crack, C, theft, D, digging graves illegally with Chad Daybell, or E, other? What type of crimes was Paul Bernardo involved in besides torture, rape, and murder? I would have to get up the actual file box on Christopher Watts' case that tell you what year that was. But I remember the TMZ article, and they were like, hey, and by the way, we were following him and taking pictures of the tasteless things that he's been doing, and look who he's with. I don't think that the kid that they were actually following was sitting towards the one group in the front, and she was in the other like 4 that were off a little bit behind them. But they're all clearly there for the photograph, because they're all looking at the camera. And I know this one. Was he selling carjacking, selling crack, theft, or digging graves illegally with Chad Daybell? Mattress tag removal. Illegally took cigarettes over county lines. I was reading the other comments, and it went flying by. C&E, stealing license plates and smuggling cigarettes across the border, is what I read. My wife actually got me kicked out of Canada. We were on vacation once. This was a long time ago, before my daughter was even born. So it's got to be 26 years ago at least. But we took the ferry over to British Columbia, I think it was. And the day before, well, no, it was that day, earlier in the morning, we had stopped at a reservation, Native American reservation, and they sell cigarettes, in the store, and we had bought them. And as we were coming through customs going into Canada, there's a sign that says you can only have, so many, packs of cigarettes, whatever, for your own use. And she, in the vehicle, she had like 2 cartons of cigarettes. One carton she had bought for herself, and one she was planning on taking home to her friend. They were clove cigarettes, by the way. And she hasn't smoked in probably 25 years herself. But anyways, you'll get up to the customs window, and she just blurts out, standing right next to me, I think I have contraband. She said that to the customs agent. Boy, did they shut those doors so damn quick. And they took us all and put us all, all four of us, me, my mother, and father-in-law, and my wife, and they put us all in four different rooms. They thought she was a drug mule, and that she was, going to confess to, having like 60 balloons of heroin or something up her ass. Sorry for the graphic, but yeah, and she's like, no, I have cigarettes. I bought all these cigarettes at the reservation, and they're not all for my own use. So they politely asked us to get back on the ferry and go back home. Oh, Canada. That really happened. If you know my wife, if you ever watched the Taco podcast, you probably had an idea that she would say something like that. But anyways, question number 19. The correct answer is C, theft. Theft. He was involved in a series of thefts before he got involved in, to torture, rape, and murder. Someone doesn't just necessarily start off, at the top, of the most horrific crimes, that are out there. His first actual crimes were for theft. And question number, did you know? Karla and Paul's crimes are ranked number 11 in Canada and ranked number 38 worldwide for shocking and disgusting nature and shock value, according to Memorabilia Collectors Poll from 2007. It should say 2017, not 2007. Yeah, there's another correction right there. But if they poll that was actually done in 2017, not 2007, 2017, for the shock value and disgusting nature of their crimes. Number 11 for all of Canada. Even though they may most likely be the most prolific serial killers that have ever been caught, and I say that because I haven't studied all crimes in Canada. I can only tell you about the ones that are in America. But there are people out there that collect memorabilia from serial killers. There are whole museums that are set up of just artwork and letters and stuff like that. There's one in Vegas and there's one in California, in Los Angeles, to be exact. And there are other collections and people and memorabilia that are in other museums across the United States, and I would assume around the world as well. But a lot of private collections too of murder memorabilia. But in 2017, they were actually ranked as number 11 in Canada and number 38 worldwide. Question number 20. What prison is Paul Bernardo in and will spend the rest of his life in? Is it A, Sing Sing Prison in the US of A, B, Westchester, C, Pelican Bay in the US, or D, Millhaven, or E, other? What prison is Paul Bernardo in currently and will spend the rest of his pathetic life in? Lori Vallow is definitely representing herself in the Arizona case. But I mean, think about it this way, Crispy Treat. She's already got a sentence in Idaho that will see her at the, die behind the prison wall. She's not going to ever be free. Now in Arizona, we all know, and if you look at the evidence, I mean, we obviously we're the court of public opinion, but she hired her brother, Alex Cox, to murder Charles. The very first phone call that Alex made after shooting and killing Charles. Now, once he said, one shot is self-defense, but then he stood over him and shot him while he was on the floor, already dying from the one bullet wound. The very first phone call he made was not to 911. It was to Lori to tell her the job was done. She needed Charles out of the picture, and she got him out of the picture. E, lemon pie. E, can corrections facility for hosers. All right, question number 20 of 20. The correct answer is D as in dog. He is in Millhaven Correction Center and will spend the rest of his life there. All right, you do not have to give yourself a letter grade. This is optional. We only play this, this trivia night for fun and entertainment. Again, some people like to keep track of how well they did, others don't. It doesn't make any difference, and nobody is any better at this than others. Maybe they have, a completely separate tab open and they're able to Google the questions faster than, and it's not cheating. Use phone a friend, ask your husband, hubby, whatever, it's on the couch, your significant other. It's all the same. Some people like to do it, some people don't. We got troubles in cigarettes going through the border in Canada. You've got in trouble as well for taking cigarettes through the border into Canada? In Jeffrey Dahmer's basement. All right, here we go. So this is a cold case or a case where someone is either endangered or is missing. You may know some small piece that may be able to help, solve the case or bring closure and relief for a family. All the cases that I present here in this next thing, sometimes it's one, sometimes it's as many as 3 different cases. Tonight it's only one. But you may have that one piece, and the only person that's standing in the way for you, helping out is you. I am doing this as, a public service. I am not being paid for this. I am working with the following 4 different groups: the Missing and Exploited Children, Name Us, the Charlie Project, and the FBI to bring awareness to these cases. There, if you go to the Charlie Project, any one of the links there, and you click on it, you can see, and search by geographic location of people who are missing in your area, and you can also search alphabetically, and there are thousands and thousands of cases out there on just the Charlie Project of people that have vanished without a trace. With that said, again, I am doing this because with the utmost correct information that is run through all 4 of these, in the cases of minors, that missing and exploited children, but otherwise, Name Us, the FBI, and the Charlie Project. All of these, the information that I'm giving you is 100% checked. I am not speculating on this. I'm trying to draw attention to these cases. All right, with that said, tonight's missing or endangered person is Yvette Thomas, missing since 4/8 of 2016. And I know some of these cases, I can't remember 2016, but you may. Look at the pictures that are, this is out of Montgomery, Alabama. It was the last place that she was seen. She is age 51 today, in 2024, not like today's date, but she stands 5'6", and 215 to 230 pounds. Her eye color is brown. Her hair color is black with curls, as you can see in the top photo. The lower photo with the blue background is her driver's license photo, which was obviously, they've probably taken a couple of years prior to her actual disappearance. Now for information about her actual disappearance itself. Thomas was last seen in Montgomery, Alabama in 2016. She lived in the Eastdale Apartments on Eastdale Road off of Atlanta Highway, and she worked for Malone Staffing at Globus America, processing Hyundai vehicles for shipment. When she missed several days of work in a row, her family went to her Eastdale area near Atlanta Highway, her apartment, and found it deserted. The door was locked. Everything inside, seemed, to appear in order, and she just wasn't there. And they do believe that her missing case, and these are again 2 additional photos of her that are taken closer to the time that she actually disappeared. They believe that it may be involved with someone who either lived or worked in her apartment complex. But the law enforcement does believe that it was the last location she was officially at. She did not have a car. She carpooled or took the bus to work. She did not have a significant other or anybody else that would be a person of interest in her disappearance. She just vanished without a trace. Again, if you know anything, you can reach out to your local law enforcement agency if you know her or seen her at all. Or you can call the tip line that is there on the screen, 334-241-2651. Thank you, everyone who is here tonight for the trivia night. I appreciate each and every one of you. Now, the chat is still open. Too many missing children and adults, says the Finn. Yes, in America, every single year, 1 million people in America go missing in America every single year. Of those 1 million people that go missing every year in America, about 90% of them are found in very short order. Maybe they just decided that they didn't like the situation that they are living in or the place that they're living in, so they just left. Leave it all behind, go reinvent yourself somewhere else. Or they're in too much debt, they're under what they call underwater on their mortgage and for their house or whatever, and they decide, what, I can't pay it off, and even if I do, I'm never going to even get my money back out of this damn place. So I might as well just walk away from it all, and start afresh. But 1 million people in America vanish every year. Statistically, when it comes to minor children, when it comes to children who are under the age of 12, you have to break it down into 2 categories, from 18 to 12, and then from 12 to birth. From those, from the age of 12 and under to birth, 92% of all children between the ages of 12 and under disappear because of custodial interference. One parent knows exactly what happened to that child and where that child is. Maybe they took that child because they thought, I'm not going to win this custody, situation. I'm just going to take the child and we're just going to go and change our names and move on to someplace else. It happens an awful lot. How many children are in that 12 and under group? Well, that's the hard part, is even the Center for Missing and Exploited Children does not know the total number of cases that are like that, because they're not considered or reported in the manner that they should be, even in the year 2024. But not to ever use your social security number again would be very difficult. There are people who do it, though. Crispy treat. Let me tell you about a man I know. His name is Tom. I'll tell you that much. Tom is a man who works every single day. He does not have a bank account. He doesn't have any credit cards. Everything that he owns, he pays cash for. Tom has not filed his taxes in well over 30 years. He does not believe in giving his money to the government in taxation. He gets his paycheck paid to him in cash every single week. So there is no bank needed. There is no check cashing fee. There is no identification because Tom does not want identification. He does not want the government to know who he is or where he is. He's very paranoid that way. And as long as I've known Tom, he is the most upstanding, trustworthy individual. And I would have no question or at all trusting him to take care of my children or to anything else. Tom just doesn't believe in the government knowing who he is and what he's up to. But that's who Tom is. Why does Tom, decide this? Well, he decided it back when he was a teenager that he didn't want to be on the grid. For years, he lived off the grid, as you would say, but now he works every single day and he works for a major corporation, but he does not, allow the government to track him by any means at all. Doesn't own a cell phone, doesn't have a car that's new enough that would have a GPS unit in it, and he does this on purpose. So there are people out there who don't need social security numbers, and it wouldn't be that hard because Tom has done it for over 30 years that I've known him. You don't even like to go camping? I go to this place once a year, Crispy Treat, in August. It's kind of like camping. It's a cabin in the woods. It's in the Cascade Mountain Range. I'll say that. I won't give up any more, details of where it's at actually. But it's completely disconnected from everything. You can't get cell service there. There's no internet. The electricity is all, by solar, and it charges a bunch of car batteries. And this place is actually, it's on, one of the, like vacation rental places but it's not like, an Airbnb, but it is a rentable place. And I've been going there for a couple of years, and I'm there for 3 days, and just to recharge my batteries, to disconnect. You'd be surprised just how, quiet the world is when you don't have all these electronic devices, constantly buzzing and telling us about the newest, TikTok video trend, or, of some friend posting a picture of their dinner or something. But I just get away from everything. Just chill. But that's kind of like camping. That's about as close as I come to camping. What kind of place does he live in? My friend Tom. My friend Tom lives in an apartment complex, but it's not in his name. Never has been. He's lived in the same place now for 16 years, somewhere in there. But utilities and everything else are in. He's like, a renter, but he's got a roommate, and everything's in the roommate's name. We went to a cabin in Canada, in St. Joseph Island, like 50 miles north of Sault Ste. Marie. And it's the same kind of cabin you're explaining. It's nice, isn't it? Cabin, not cabinet. Auto correction. Yeah. But I do that every year in August. And then I go to a golf tournament that I playing every year. The peace and quiet. And you get out there, you can't even drive up to the place. You have to. There's like a parking area, and then you have to hike into the actual cabin itself. And man, when it gets at nighttime, when it is dark, it is dark. There's no ambient lights from a city nearby. There's no, cars rushing by on the freeway. It is just peacefulness. It really helps recharge the batteries. Just to let it all go. Love to be near a river in a cabin. There's a lake that's a small lake that's nearby there, but it's kind of it's a walk. It all depends on how overgrown the bushes and the underbrush is, but you can definitely get there, and it'll probably take you about 10-minute walk. But there's no paths. There's a path to the cabin and then a path back, and then the area is cleared out around it. But I love this place, and since I found this, it's been heaven. It is. I mean, it's quiet and secluded. There's no other cabins around there. In all the years I've been going there, I've never seen another soul or heard another, like hunters, gun going off in the forest. Nothing. Just birds, moose. Oh boy, moose. Jesus, they're loud. The moose there. Elk. Will, are you going to flood your email with the last question on trivia? Be prepared to get tickled with feathers. All right. Going to flood your email with the last question. Trivia. Please do. It's 411now business, all one word, at gmail.com. 411now business. But I also love being in my house. Everything you take to this cabin, Kitty Q, everything you bring in, you have to bring back out. Everything. They have refuge bags and everything else. There is no running water at this cabin. I mean, technically there is water. It's a big water tank and it's got a pump, but there's no flush toilets. That's perfect for me. Kitty go, I have the email. There you go. Does scorpions kill humans or dogs? Do scorpions? I'm sure there are scorpions that are venomous that will kill humans or dogs. I mean, there are people who die from a bee sting. So I mean, from scorpion bite, from a sting. Yeah, I'm sure that there are. Are there any scorpions like that in my area? The scorpions we get here are about they're about that big. So to give you reference, here's a Bic lighter. The kind of reference, they're about the size of this lighter, and total size, but they're a clear and brown scorpion. I do not know the name of the scorpions. They're just pains in the asses. In the early morning hours, as the sun just rises, you'll see scorpions and rattlesnakes curled up on blacktop or concrete pads. Like if you have a driveway with concrete on it, they love the heat, the ambient heat that they have from it. I love Hawaii. There's no snakes in Hawaii. I'd rather go there than anywhere ever. My friends vacation in Maui every year. They've been doing it. They've been going to Maui for years and years and years. They love it. Try cucumber lemonade. Der Wiener Schnitzel sells. But back to Juicy Jules' question about the scorpions in my area, though. Will they kill you? I'm sure that they can if they sting you enough. I mean, I don't want to find out. When we don't see too many, when it comes to the golf courses that I play, we don't see too many rattlesnakes on the actual golf courses. We see a lot of bull snakes. And interesting fact, and I don't know if if this is true everywhere in the world, but wherever you see bull snakes, you won't see rattlesnakes because they're mortal enemies. The bull snake will actually kill the baby rattlers. So Marina just wanted to say hi really quick. Next time, Will, stay strong, stay longer. Well, you take care, Marina, and I hope you have a terrific week ahead. We had big scorpions in Texas. Oh yeah, I've been to Texas. If that's something that's bigger and badder in Texas that I don't want to deal with anymore, I've definitely seen them down there. Well, you did love the place, the St. Joseph's Island. There's electricity and water, but that's about it. No phones, internet, but the phone booth, and one little general store that's walking distance. That's cool. Do you shoot them off the rattlesnakes and scorpions, or just wait for them to go away? And where do they go? Um, a lot of the not scorpions, but rattlesnakes that you find in town, Kitty, they get into town because they hitchhike off of vehicles. Now, as the community has grown farther and farther into the encroached upon the the natural habitat of these animals, just like we have cougars here. I mean, I caught one up here on the community tab not too long ago. One that was caught like right outside on a camera, right outside of our housing development. But we're moving into their areas, and they've been here for I don't know, since after the ice age. But these animals have always been here. But a lot of the rattlesnakes, again, how do they get into the city? They hitchhike. They curl up into the underside of a pickup truck, or and they hitch a ride into town. Where do they go after when it warms up? In the morning, the sun comes up. I don't know. A brush pile underneath a house. Someplace where they can feel safe. I don't know. I've eaten rattlesnake. Um, my friends all describe the rattlesnake and what it tastes like. They say it kind of tastes like chicken, but not, like it doesn't have a really strong flavor. But they don't get into cars, at least, I mean, they probably can if I guess you can left your door open long enough. They're just the opportunistic, creatures. Rattlesnakes are looking for field mice, rabbits, stuff like that. And they will go after a cat, I would guess. But then again, we also have coyotes and mountain lions, in this area, cougars, you know, in this area. So, I mean, they would go after cats too. And in the development where I live, we're almost 4 miles. So town is here, and then there's nothing in between town, and then there's this housing development that I live in. And people out here, they got a lot of cats, dogs. I see them, occasionally dogs wander around in the community. Although all dogs are supposed to be on leashes, not everybody follows that rule. We live in an HOA that doesn't seem to have an issue with it. Always been horrified when your neighbors in Texas had a 12-foot snake in her laundry. Oh boy, that's a big one, big snake. I've never seen a rattler get that big. Thing, 3 foot. I've seen those. Tough. The whole thing is muscle. Yeah, because the rattlesnake that we cooked up, we actually caught it at my buddy's hunting lodge's property. That's outside of other side of the state from me, where I live. But we caught a rattlesnake there, and then we skinned it and then threw it on the barbecue grill. You have coyotes that come out of the woods and eat one of the designer dogs in our neighborhood, and you can hear them howling. It's scary. 1993 Rush song, Nobody's Hero, references the murder of a young girl in Port Dollhouse drummer Neil Peart's hometown. I did not know that, Kitty Coo. Just like Bruce Springsteen in his song. Well, that wasn't actually from the town, where Bruce Springsteen was. We see the coyotes. You'll see them. We see them all the time. Driving into town, they're running parallel to the road, off into the distance by the train tracks. They don't bother us. We don't bother them. But again, I just find it weird though if so many people in this area have outdoor cats. I'm like, there's things all around here outside the community that just want to eat them. We've never lost, and we've knock on wood. I've never lost one of my cats to one of them, or a dog, or anybody. We used to have a dog named Beast. He was so scared of everything, but he would sit there in my backyard and just howl at the coyotes as he saw them running down, the tracks. What do you call a plastic hose that the dryer vent hose? It depends. You're talking about the accordion stuff, like white plastic, a lint trap, a hose. I don't know if it probably does have a name for it, but I would just call it a dryer vent hose. It's like KFC, and now we're talking. Is it like KFC? I doubt that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap up tonight's trivia there. And before we go, if you'll give this a thumbs up, I would appreciate it. If you're watching this afterwards, leave a comment down below to let me know. Did you like trivia night? Is there anything you'd like to see me add? I always welcome the constructive criticism, and feedback. So again, I hope that everyone has a great week ahead. And as Purple says, if she's still here, as Purple says, you never know who's going to be standing next to you next, and you never know who's going to be knocking at your door. You all have a great week. Thank you again. We'll talk to see you all again soon. Bye. Inner Peace wants more cowbells.